Hi, friends. I'm host Eric. That's some lady over there. I just came home today and this lady was sitting in this chair, and I just haven't gotten around to asking her who she is, what she's doing here. I figure I'll get around to it eventually. We've had a busy, busy day. We've had the kind of day that makes you want to reach out and touch your neighbor. You might wonder which neighbor ought we reach out and touch. The one to the west of you. If you don't have a neighbor to the west, then any neighbor you choose is fine. YouTube experiments. What does that mean? Well, let me tell you. Sometimes I get a short-lived interest in trying to generate more views and such for the channel. And today was one of those days. So I thought I'd copy something that I saw that had been successful. And it was serendipitous because what's that word? What was not the word Jung used? What's the word Jung used? Synchronicity? Anyway, regardless of what the word is, the other day, Rachel and I got trolled by that person, and they kept coming back with all these talk about put accounts and whatnot. But try not to get this light in the background so much like that. Why are you so light-filled? Well, the light's right above me. I see. Well, how about here? Maybe I need to make it lower, or just point it lower. So anyway, shortly after I'd seen that had happened to us, I saw this video, a new video that hadn't been out for very long, and it said, "I'm being stalked. YouTube doesn't care." It had over 1 million views. So I was like, wow, we were just talking about making a video like this. Which seems to be a sign from the universe that we should. Of course, our video is getting, I would say, more action than a standard upload, but not a lot. Whether that changes over time, I don't know. So that was one of the experiments. Of course, I'm not sure what that video was like. I didn't watch that video. It was just recommended to me. But our video kind of subverts its own title in the sense that I don't care that YouTube doesn't care. I think YouTube's doing plenty to empower creators to curate, manage, moderate, that's the word I'm looking for, moderate their YouTube channels, you know. It is true that some bad behavior persists, like that of that individual. And, you know, it's impossible to stop all bad behavior. I'm not a fan of anonymity in general. I think anonymity is harmful to speech and to free expression, not helpful to it. So you'll note that anonymous speech is not protected by the First Amendment. Not explicitly, anyway. So anonymity is across the board a problem. And it's a problem that's possibly linked to, but probably not exactly the same as um, our country, but more so the world's obsession with privacy, which is an ill-conceived notion for sure. That privacy is good. You know, transparency is good. Secrecy is bad. Privacy tries to split the difference between secrecy and something else, you know. Secrecy and ownership. It tries to split the difference between secrecy and ownership. Anyway, that's not the only YouTube experiment I've engaged in lately and today. So I noted that, first of all, only some shorts do well, right? So trying to get down a sense of which shorts do well, which ones don't, and trying to find some sort of pattern there or information that informs me about what doesn't work or what does. So it's like, although not every single snippet from, not every single short from the Johnny Show did poorly, but almost all of them did. The reason being, there's nothing about a little snippet from a concert inherently that's going to grab you. And I suspect that's so much so that seeing a thumb from such a context is something that people probably are not enticed by very much. So click-through rate, which is the amount of times, the percentage of people who expose to your thumb who click it, has a lot to do with short success. A lot more to do with it probably than maybe people think. Like, I've had plenty of shorts that do extremely well in terms of likes for the amount of views they have, but that doesn't make them get more views. So as it stands, you can't even upload your own thumbs to shorts. You just have to accept the default thumb that YouTube gives you, which is fine. But the combination of thumb and title is pretty critical to the thing's success. Probably even more so than with uploaded videos. Certainly more so than with live streams. So, like the shorts but here's another thing that I've discovered. Shorts are actually a really good way to publish song ideas, because I can put out a little loop of 10 seconds long or something that comprises one little chunk of a song idea or something. And if the loop's timed right so that it goes around as seamlessly as possible, then generally those things will do quite well. Obviously, I have to come up with ideas to sing or whatever, but at least it provides a place for me to publish and a means for me to engage the external world or present musical ideas that's not just entirely pointless, right? I could collect all those ideas on my hard drive, and what's the point really? Am I really going to return to those ideas and build them out? Sometimes I do, but it ends up being a select idea that I can't get out of my head or something, you know? And I'm sure there are many equally good ideas that they just got lost in the shuffle. I'd be better off just conceding that the only point of this is to be a 10-second meow. And then those can do quite well, surprisingly. But babies holding candelabras or whatever. That was the title. There's a little video of these two statues of babies holding candelabras at the Madonna Inn. That got like 5,000 views. And I got corrected. I accepted the phone's correction from candelabras to Candelaria. And I was wrong. It was candelabras. I was right. The phone was wrong. It was candelabras. I should not have listened to the phone. I should have listened to me. But I wasn't sure what the plural was, so I was just like, okay, maybe it's Candelaria. I don't know. Maybe we got the wrong word here. Thanks a lot, YouTube, for suggesting me the wrong word. Anyway. In the video I uploaded with Rachel today called Sexually Harassed, YouTube Doesn't Care. I monetized it. I informed them that it had nothing controversial in it or whatever. And every time I inform them that, they go, okay, we trust you because you've never misinformed us before. And so the thing is, every time I switch it to monetize and I tell them, no, there's nothing controversial in this, it goes straight to green. Not that one. It stayed on yellow. Actually, they had the word sexually in the title. Oh. But I requested a human review because there's absolutely nothing controversial in that. In fact, I'm not even criticizing YouTube in it. I don't think YouTube's doing anything wrong. I think that guy who made that video, assuming he didn't do what I did, okay, which is subvert the title by saying, he's just not doing anything wrong. It's ridiculous. YouTube's not responsible for that guy's behavior. They've already addressed the problem that existed in the previous status quo, which was too much empowerment for people to make sock puppet accounts. So, the other guy who made this video, I'm being stalked, YouTube doesn't care, needs to stop being such a little bitch. It's not YouTube's fault he's being stalked. Is YouTube stalking him? No. YouTube cannot control or be responsible for in any way the actions of its many billions of users. That's got bugs on it. I shouldn't drink it because it's got bugs in it. Has nobody chatted at all yet, or is the chat not working? Can somebody say something just so I'm aware of the chat, so I can see the chat's working? I can't seem to chat anything myself. Thank you, Carmen. It is working now. Because for some reason, this time, out of nowhere, even though this never happened before, it's ridiculous. It's got a bug in it. No thanks. I'm gonna pass it on that one. It's got little gnats in it. I don't know how old it was. Yeah, well, you probably shouldn't be able to. And in fact, you only can if you can point to something clearly unsafe that they should have attended to but didn't, you know? Um, the but YouTube is even more removed than a venue. It's a it's a platform where individual creators, yeah, right? You might well say they've got some responsibility for the kind of content they allow their creators to produce, some responsibility for policing that, but it's very difficult to say that they've got responsibility for what the viewers do. It's like they've already empowered the creators to remove anything they don't like at any time, to meow, 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 right? To hide people, etc. They couldn't empower creators anymore. They've even set it up so that you can auto hide questionable comments if you are too afraid to look at them or whatever. So the thing is, the idea that YouTube can do more than empower the creator in full as a means of addressing potential behaviors of the viewers is wrong. YouTube can't and shouldn't do more than empowering the creators in full in terms of policing what the viewers do. If somebody's continually getting reported for leaving hate speech filled comments and stuff, fine. Do something about that guy. But if the behavior leaves YouTube and transitions to the regular world, like that guy called the fuck out of us the other night. Stalking would imply that it's left YouTube and entered the real world. Obviously, YouTube has nothing to do with that guy's bad behavior and cannot possibly be held responsible for it at all. I mean, you can't expect YouTube to do background checks of everybody before they allow it. You know, it's ridiculous. Now, what I think would be an excellent solution would be a Facebook-like solution, such that you may be able to be allowed to have brand accounts, other channels that are a certain brand, but they all have to be under the umbrella of your actual identity. Are ENSPs not capable of being romantic? What does love mean for ENSP? Can they be romantic? I mean, I'm not especially romantic, but I'm not really sure what romantic would mean in this context. This is why anonymous accounts are starting to be extinguished. Good. It's a good thing, If it's a good idea for you to say something, then you should have no problem with saying it under your name. I'm fairly romantic, I guess, with Rachel. Probably less romantic than another type would be, but yes, I have absolutely with Rachel. What I described as a state of limerence. I couldn't get her off my mind, blah, blah, blah. But when we were talking to each other and stuff, but I hadn't actually met her yet. And for the whole first stretch of time that we were together, I absolutely felt giddy and in love. You know, and it's not like I still don't feel like I am in love with Rachel. John, here's a shout out for you. Know that your sister Dawn loves you. I also want to give a shout out to your other brother, Ron. He also deserves a shout out. Your real name isn't Cat Down the Road? See, I don't mind on YouTube people being whatever handle they want to call it, you know? But it should link somewhere to their actual identity. I'm not saying people should be forced to exist on the internet only under their real name. I'm just saying that it should be possible to figure out someone's real name. Brother John and brother Ron have sister Dawn, along with younger brother Lon. Their mom, whose name is Plon, and her dad, whose name is Don, with a D-O-N, are pretty happy with their family names. Who knows, Lamau? If you put a comma there and then a question mark at the end, it would say, who knows? Is it Lamau who knows? Right. I mean, there are very few instances where good people are empowered by anonymity to speak what they otherwise would not be empowered to speak. The only real example I can think of is like reporting a crime, you know? Well, the thing is, right, stalking is a problem, so we shouldn't value anonymity. The guy who's being stalked is the YouTube creator. He doesn't have any anonymity. He's out there talking with his face and everything, right? It's the guy who's stalking him who can't be tracked down. Who can't be tracked down because even if he's got a good idea which of the anonymous accounts links to the stalker, they can't get past the anonymity. I'm 52. You know, 52. I was in fact rather marveling at Martin Short earlier this evening. We watched a couple of things that he had done with Steve Martin on Saturday Night Live last year. And man, that guy is doing his best work in his 70s. It's like it took him into his 70s to start really like hitting on all cylinders. I found that kind of reassuring, you know? Steve Martin seems slightly more like an old man than Martin Short, but neither of them seem very old, and they're both in their 70s and both doing great work. Have a huge hit show. Only Murders in the Building is probably right now's hottest show. The inclusion of Meryl Streep as a guest star was a pretty pretty flex move, you know. Well, Mel Brooks is in his 90s and he makes a cameo in Only Murders in the Building. So, you know, Martin Short clearly is not even physically decrepit at all. He prances around like a, you know, 30-year-old or whatever. So it really depends on your own personal future history as to whether or not 52 is old or not. Really depends on how much time you got left, right? 20 is old if you're going to die at 22. You got to think about your age as percentage of total years of like fully functioning, enjoying life, not in terms of in terms of a raw number. I'm still in good health. Can plan to continue to be in good health, and that's why I'm diligent about smoking. And you know, here around that feeling old or feeling young thing, that's variable based on how things have been recently. You know, when you go through a hard stretch, you feel real old, and then when life turns a corner and things go smoothly for you for a while, and your sort of natural joy returns to you, you feel young again. You know, I feel a lot younger now than I did, say, in September of last year. And some parts of me, I think, are getting younger. Like, I believe I'm reverting to pre-puberty. My pubic hairs are all falling out, and my voice is getting higher. So, I don't think old is relative. I didn't say that. I said it's a more complicated determination to make than simply looking at the number and saying this number's old or that number's old. Well, my crazy but lovely ENFJ girlfriend came back to me recently, and we were both crazy, but love is hard to find in real love, so I tolerate her antics. That's going to make you feel old fast. Old is 26 or greater. Okay. Okay, you're on. I remember I was married to an ESFJ. Because it depends what you like. And regardless, here I am. When almost the first thing you say in defending this clearly ill-begotten pairing is the sex is good, well, that just reinforces my notion that this is a clearly ill-begotten pairing. I mean, I know you like it here, Lamb, but let's face it, you don't really want to put a ring on it. Feminine and juicy is wonderful, but insufficient. May be necessary, but insufficient. You need more than just, I want to hump this lady. Well, Fly Guy, your intuition and mine are running in tandem regarding this matter, apparently. Okay, you want to marry and have children, but you don't want to marry her and have her children. You have good intuition, she's a good woman. You already described her as crazy and needing to be tolerated for her antics. Whether or not she's a good woman is one question. Whether or not she's a good match for you is another question. If in the status quo already, and she just got back, you already are finding yourself having to tolerate her antics, believe me, this is not somebody you want to marry. Why? Because of your low self-esteem? I tell you what, let's go get a beverage and we'll discuss this a little more. We'll fix your love life, Hero Lamb. What you need is the power of FI polar to fix your love life. I will bring a power of FI polar to this discussion. Instead of being sensitive to the fact that you clearly want this to work, I'll explain to you in no uncertain terms that it will not. I like two kinds of rings, diamond and peach. I never have to tolerate any antics from Rachel. Now, an objective third party would say to me, Eric, but she has to tolerate antics from you. And I would agree with you. All right, well, again, I'm not saying she's not a lovely, innocent girl. I'm saying, is she really the right girl for you? Like, if her OCD is she has to make you come 3 times before she leaves the house, it sounds fun now, but your penis will get tired. My penis is tired. Most of the time. Well, maybe she still got it, though, right? You gotta factor in how many times do you really want your loads to come out per week. I wasn't accusing her of being a slut or anything. Jeez. Someone told me the other day that I have good intuition. Is that a compliment to an ESTJ? Well, it means that the person who told you that is not a good evaluator of intuition. As a compliment to anybody. But in this instance, it's an inaccurate compliment because ESTJs do not have good intuition. They've got plenty of extroverted intuition, but it's third slot and childlike, and they're blind to introverted intuition. She's in her 20s and she's still a virgin. So you're like, I really like this girl who just gives me blowjobs all the time. Shocking. Shocking here, LM. Well, you are an interfacer, Michelle. Look, here I am. You can fuck my mouth or my ass, and that is it. Well, that's good. Do you love her? You talk about how good she is objectively, how much she loves you, but do you love her? Right. I mean, look, anybody can exhibit individual instances that a third party will call that's good, meow, for their polar. It happens every once in a while, you know. Periodically, I show good FI, I guess you'd say, or what somebody else might call good FI. Like, I think maybe others wouldn't agree with this, but I think that my distress over a well, yeah, if you care about a person, then you don't just want to fuck them, but that's also falls short of loving them. If I had to try to operationalize some kind of definition for it, it would be like when they are not with you, do you feel like finally a few minutes to myself without her crazy carrying on? Or do you feel like, I wonder where Rachel is? I don't know. Okay, well, maybe you're meant to be then. Maybe you are. Well, she's not good with TE, but like I'm saying, cognitive functions are to some extent like a hamburger. I might not be a very good cook, but every once in a while, I might make an incredibly delicious hamburger that's as good as any hamburger you're gonna get at a restaurant or whatever. So the thing is, somebody who, okay, I fine here, lamb. Look, the only thing that made me intuit there might be a problem here was that you've gone out with her before, broken up, are going out together again. Okay, so that's already a red flag. And the fact that you use the word tolerate to describe her. You're so all right to describe the verb you're using to I never said anything about her OCD. She's a Buddhist. She's hardcore Buddhist. So Buddhists believe sex is a form of killing. Not acceptable. No, I'm not smoking. Actually, your eyes are lying to you. Hero Lamb's girl. Her name's Denise. Johnny Elias isn't trying to gaslight me. He's trying to hurt my feelings. But good luck with that. Yeah, I've got the smoking filter on YouTube. They have that now. Makes it look like you're smoking when you're not. Oh. That was clearly a joke, Michelle. I would not call that gaslighting. If you believed that, then you are gaslit by the slightest little thing. Rachel? Okay, I'm imagining Rachel here, Lam. What do you want me to do now? Old is gold, brother. Well, old has its advantages and disadvantages. Okay, I'm imagining Rachel walking through a field of flowers in a sundress. You're dating Rachel? Here, Lamb? I don't believe you, okay? I refuse to let your specious accusation make me suspicious of my wife. Where is she? She's with Hero Lamb now. Hero Lamb bought her a sundress, invited her to a field of flowers, and won her heart. Okay. Rachel's innocent enough, I guess. She is a nice girl. Aren't you saying your girl's innocent and a nice girl too? I know I'm lucky to have her. I feel very lucky all the time to have her. I'm not being all like, Rachel's okay, I guess. When have you ever heard me say a bad thing about Rachel? I never have anything bad to say about Rachel. I did maybe have a few laughs at her expense today when we watched this hilarious song called A White Woman's Instagram Page. It looked a lot like her Instagram page. I thought I'd seen her Instagram page, but I know her taste in background photos for I'm not insulting your girl. Jeez. Okay. She's great, sexy, fantastic. I am so impressed with what an amazing woman you have. And I wish you all the best of eternal married bliss, which I am sure is just around the corner. And as soon as you're married, you just start popping those babies out. You're going to be the most beautiful family in history. There. Are you satisfied? Okay, here I am. I am. Yes, glorious beyond all reckoning. There's no disputing that. Well, cat down the road. That's not terribly uncommon. Like depending on where something is in your stack, you're going to tend to misattribute it to a different function. You know, like you'll people who until they get knowledgeable about it, anyways, people will tend to misattribute their polar to their fourth, convert their polar into a fourth thing. Like when I talk about FI, I tend to use SI analogies to explain it. Sometimes even still, they're talking about FI and give an SI example. Go, wait, check that. It's SI. The cloud roller is good. That's a tasty drink of water. He seemed to disappear after I had a argument about Christianity with him. I think he realized he had lost all real credibility because the thing is, I understood that he wasn't necessarily receptive to certain kinds of rationalist arguments, right? But he should have been receptive to religious arguments, and I was winning the religious argument, and he was not receptive to it anyway. And someone said, "This is what I don't like about him. He's a hypocrite." And so, what happened is he had one bit of moral high ground that he believed he possessed, which was he was the best Christian. Then he had that exchange with me, and it was pretty obvious he was a pretty shitty Christian. So I think having no longer being able to hold that piece of ground, then he knew he wasn't going to be able to do what he wanted to do here. Well, you're a lamb. He's a horror. That's a horrible thing to say. Ridiculous claim to make. Insane. I don't know why anybody would say such a thing. Where are we going to find the natives anyway? Haven't we basically civilized almost all of them at this point? So, I don't miss him because it was one thing when I thought him to be just an earnest, too try hard Christian. It's another thing now that I recognize him to be not a good Christian at all, and so having no excuse for being such a shitty, like taking such a shitty attitude towards everything else. No, I get it. I get that there's a lot of pain behind his affect, and that has a lot to do with why I never really banned him or kicked him out or anything. Yeah, I get that too, but but you can't have it all ways, you know? You just can't have it all ways. You can't be a moral high ground moralist, a misguided moralist, Christian, hardcore Christian person. And take that thereby a certain amount of slack for your weirdness about other things. And then also not be a good Christian and not actually really be a real Christian as I understand it, you know. So not like I said go away or anything. I just was clearly disappointed, fed up, and had my eyes opened a bit. I do, though, respect that his has almost hurt people, right? So it's almost always the case when you see somebody behaving in some toxic-ish way that it's an expression of their pain. But that doesn't mean we should enable or empower their toxicities. It's clearly a coping mechanism of some sort, you know. The facing the reality that he's among the population of males that has low reproductive viability. In other words, isn't naturally a puss slayer in any sense of the word. And he's probably very puss shy. You know, I empathize because you know I was never an alpha male or anything or a puss slayer at all. I was always scared of girls, you know, scared of being inadequate. Just like Johnny says in that song, he's better than me. And oh my God, it fucking hurts because I'm not like other guys. I'm worse. You know? But well, it's not so much, it's sort of security, but what that boils down to is it's too painful a truth for him to tackle head on. And it's kind of understandable because to the extent that we have standards that we think life expects us to meet or whatever, then those standards are gleaned from media, parents, whatever. So his real antipathy towards media messages is displaced onto messages to girls. But his real problem is he's not living up to the norms standardized for men. And he doesn't feel like he can compete. So the problem isn't his location on the reproductive viability hierarchy. It's those girls who are sluts so much and sleep with people who are other than him. I mean, an insecure and needy girl is probably going to be quite experienced as well, and that's just going to scare the shit out of them. The more experienced the woman is, the more scary it is for the man because there's this sense that you're being compared against her previous partners. Right? There's no way you're going to match up to, you're gonna get a D. And it's not an unwarranted fear, right? It's like it is the case that for people like me who are not cut out for sleeping around, who don't seem to quite get the whole I'm going to satisfy my lustful appetites and how satisfying that's going to be. Because for me, it's all about all these various meanings, trying to represent myself well in a context that I'm not naturally, attentionally configured to thrive in. I mean, it would be for me. Here I am. They're scary because you're worried about how you're going to stack up as a man, but you, the more this chick's been with a million dudes. Some of whom are big puss slayers and excellent lovers and whatever. So all those meanings are going on through your head. Look, I'm just trying to share with you Bobby's perspective where he is right now, somewhat. I don't need advice, Marilyn. I'm a happily married man, and by the time I had gotten into my 40s, I pretty well gotten over being push shy. I'm not saying it's love. I'm talking about the man's identity if you're an insecure man, right? Who's Solomon? Oh, yeah. You think I hid somebody I shouldn't have hid? It's possible. I could go and hide when we get back in the house. Why is what a goal? Getting laid? It's not for me or for Bobby. The goal is to be loved by a good woman and be in a good relationship, right? But in the modern age, and I suspect for all of human history, for most all populations, for most all of human history, it's always been the case that sex comes too soon in a relationship. In other words, having sex is how you know you've gotten into a relationship. Okay. I I had the exact opposite perspective on sleeping around. Here, that dating and trying to bang some chick was way too much work for way too little pay. mean, I agree with you for me, 100%. But then, before you are going to get a good woman to love you in a long-term relationship, before that happens, you're gonna have sex with her first. You're gonna have to. You're probably gonna have sex with her if you're an insecure man like me or Mr. Bobby. You're gonna have sex with her, before there's any kind of thing you'd call love. Before you have the comfort of familiarity and trust, right? Sex is gonna happen before trust does. And so even for me and Rachel, she got here, we had sex right away, I kind of regret that. I wish I just now, of course, it's easy to see. She's just taking our time and really gotten to know each other more and just let it naturally occur. But of course, I'm a man and I don't know. But anyway, for me, sex has gotten continually better from day one to now, gradually over time, because I feel, it's like the safer and more familiar and comfortable I am, the better things are. About having sex right away. I mean, it's not a huge regret, but it's like when I backwards engineer sort of the ideal way it would have happened, it would have been a little bit more romantic probably. But, being with you makes me mushy. Yep. I just really like having sex with Rachel. I enjoy it a great deal. For you, that's the problem with puss slaying or pole slaying, whatever you want to call it, either direction, is for the slayer, none of it means anything. For the slayed, you're already on to the next thing before you're not looking back. You don't even know. Well, but here I am. I agree life's too short for worthless relationships, but you're forgetting that I had a worthless marriage and a not worthless, but not ideal relationship in a second marriage. I had a worthless long-term relationship with Kimberly. These are the big adult relationships I've had. Um, they were all worthless before Rachel. Yeah, if trouble was getting laid, he'd make Rachel and I watch. I'm a pushover, that's on you. Well, I mean, I agree that I did a poor job of picking mates prior to Rachel, but don't make any mistake, I was a pushover in none of those relationships because because It's not hard for you to get laid. It doesn't mean it's not hard for anyone to get laid. I mean, number one thing is well, I was just using this term to make a point, I guess. No, you can hear a lamb. For neurotic intuitives, that's not the case, right? Like I can freestyle rap about MBTI for 4 hours straight. It's not hard at all. Right here, Lamb? You could do that too, huh? I have. There's a video of me freestyling about MBTI for 4 straight hours. The point is, we need to stop assuming that just because things are easy for us, they should be easy for other people. Um, confidence and confidence in one's reproductive viability and confidence and one's actual reproductive viability are in a catch-22 kind of relationship. We didn't say that, show media, but my dad basically did. He said, "Here comes trouble." And that's how the cat got named. You don't understand why other people want this? Oh, why they want to sleep around? I mean, I don't know why. I'm not one of those kind of men. I mean, I know some of them want to, you know, prove themselves as men or something like. But if that's their only reason, then once they successfully slay a push or two, they'll realize it's an empty dead end. Yeah. Other people seem to not be long-term relationship people. So there are like swingers and stuff and wife swappers, and presumably in at least some of those instances both the woman and the man are in favor of it. There are also people who choose to just stay single their whole lives and have a lot of sex, um, because they don't want a relationship and they're not looking for fulfillment through intimacy with the opposite sex. And it's hard to say that's inherently wrong, provided they're pairing up with people who have the same attitude about sex as they do. I mean, I think you're maybe giving women a little bit too little agency here. I believe there are probably women out there who are just as into meaningless sex as the men they're having meaningless sex with. Well, I mean, not necessarily. It's like if you're a 50-year-old guy and you've already determined you don't want to be tied down to a long-term relationship. You're a self-preserving type. You've got your house how you want it. You got your life how you want it. And there's no reason why you should be denied the opportunity to date, you know. Well, whores are people too. Here I am. Think about it this way here, Lamb. If your woman had your attitude, you'd be persona non grata, right? You're lucky she's not as puritanical as you are, or she'd say, "You're filthy, all used up, and of no value to me, you whore." Oh, wait, I think I did it again. That's two people that I've banned that I probably shouldn't have. Oh, I guess I guess the troll's getting some impacts tonight, huh? All right, sorry about that, Shaggy. I'll unban you right now. Sometimes people just get banned out of nowhere. It just happens. Look, here, Lamb. I'm not saying I'm judging you. Oh, thank you for unhiding that person. Who's the other one I have to unhide? Um, what was his name? Solomon the Surmounter. All right, let's see if I can figure this out. Oh, wait, I can do it here. Unhide user on this channel. There we go. I can't do it on my phone, but I can do it here. All right, good stuff. Good stuff. Only on my laptop. I can't do it on the phone. You didn't ban me. I was adding to persona non grata, and that it reminded me of John Wick. I don't understand that, but fine. Well, Shaggy is not new. I realized that after I hit him. It was like, oh, I remember this guy. He's been here before. He seems legit, probably. And if he turns out to be unlegit, then I did not disrespect your girl. I did not disrespect her. I just said, if she had your attitude, she wouldn't have anything to do with you because you're such a slut. Right? Fair is fair. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. That's what my mom used to say. And I agree with her. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. I already told you I did not disrespect her. How did I disrespect her? I would not fall in love with her. I'm in love with my wife. No, the experiments are more like the video I made earlier, which is copying somebody else's title. Who, okay, well, what if she told you that? She said, look, I had sex with like 100 guys between age 14 and 19, but now I am a virgin. Would you be fine with that? How long does it take for your whoredom to wear off? Well, I mean, if you get the reference, and given the fact that the reference is not very old, others might as well. Even if they don't get the reference, there's nothing falsely said in that title. Nothing false at all. Rachel was sexually harassed. YouTube doesn't care. My point is YouTube shouldn't care, and that other guy should stop being such a little bitch, you know? Oh, I'm not saying she's not a virgin. I'm saying now let's, Hero Lamb, position it such that she has your story. That she had sex with 100 dudes in high school, but then she converted to Islam and has been good ever since. Is that okay with you? Is that just as good as a real virgin? The person from the live stream the other night, the same person who's been coming today, probably, um, in the most crass and unacceptable ways. But my point is, YouTube doesn't need to do anything more. And that guy who's being stalked needs to recognize that when he chooses to become a public figure, he needs to go in there with a reasonable expectation that he's going to face a little bit of shit, you know? And have a little bit of responsibility for himself. Like, oh, it's different for men. Oh, there we go. I agree it is different for men. But the reason it's different for men is because men don't get judged for it. Or they get judged positively for it. But that's just explaining the mechanics of how it's fucked up. It's not a defense of it at all. No, Shaggy, Kale, you inferred complicity. The title does not imply it. And you incorrectly inferred it in this instance. I'm not judging you for your teen behavior. I'm judging you for your double standard, dummy. Look, sexual jealousy is no, he said past tense. No, I used past tense. I didn't use present tense or future tense or whatever. I didn't use present progressive. You are sleeping around a lot. I said you slept around a lot. Now, what if we were to apply the same story to her where it is your story? And you displayed that you're just having a double standard. I'm neither judging your teen promiscuity nor her virginity. I'm pointing out that you're applying a different standard to her than to yourself. And that's a perfectly reasonable thing to point out. Okay, so if you're comfortable with that, then fine. I'm not the Hero Land police. I'm fond of, yeah, oh yeah, I know, right? Got distracted. Um, got distracted by heroin. Just for the record, I want to state I and others may hypothesize that this individual is Michael Smith, but we don't have any proof of that. So we probably shouldn't call this person that name. Are you going to convert to Islam? I believe to take full ownership of an Islamic woman, you have to convert to Islam. Yeah, actually, you guys should both convert to Mormonism. Can Krishna Sarma Pagu. Well, I can't honestly say that I miss her, but now that you mention her, I will concede that her presence was pleasant. You don't want to both convert to Mormonism? You get to be white and live in Utah. All right, how about Jehovah's Witness then? You want to convert to Jehovah's Witness? All you got to do before you convert to Jehovah's Witness, you just got to at least one time witness Jehovah. I believe I'm witnessing Jehovah. We had a couple of religious door-to-door people knock on the door the other day. Rachel was still asleep. I talked to them briefly. I was nice, but said, I don't really want to talk about this right now. I'm sorry. I'm in the middle of something. I just don't really want to talk about it in general. Because, what is the point of having a conversation with people who have an understanding of God and religion that's so childlike? Bajern to Baji. Harolam, I support your relationship 100%. If you are believing in it, then all power to you. I regret many times over ever saying anything. I obviously don't know her at all, barely know you. My opinion about what you should do in your relationship should be ignored completely. You got arrested before you spray painted a church? Well, that's good. It prevented you from spray painting a church. What did you get arrested for? For conspiracy to spray paint a church? Well, what was your warrant for? Like not paying a ticket or something? I've got a warrant potentially out for my arrest in Oklahoma. So I didn't pay their traffic violation. Fuck you, state of Oklahoma. You stole my bong. You stole ounces of weed from me. You stole like $2,000. Plus, you broke my car. And now you're like, plus you didn't pay the speeding ticket that we forgot to, that you forgot about that was also given to you when you got arrested. And here's a speeding ticket. Just to add shit to Shinola, you know? Yes, we're arresting you for drugs and stuff, and putting you in handcuffs and taking you to the police station. Oh, by the way, we're also giving you a speeding ticket. You're welcome. You fucking pricks. The gall of these people. Fuck with me that hard. And then years later, try to get me to pay them $600 or something for a speeding ticket I never paid. Or how about I send you a note that says fuck off? Until and unless it interferes with my business here in California or in any other state of the union, Oklahoma, you can go fuck yourself. Your threatening letter doesn't scare me because I read the words. Only things that scare me are things I don't read. There's one other thing that scares me. That I will one day have my glasses in my hand, be looking at them, and they'll simply disappear. How did I lose them again? Earlier, Rachel brought me my other pair of glasses, which I'd lost. And she said, here. And I briefly had 2 pairs of glasses. Now, of course, I once again have 0 pairs of glasses. They're not in my jacket. They're not on the table. They're not anywhere they should be. They're not in the garage. Sounds to me, Hero Lamb, like you're a Gemini with your penis in rising. Mm-hmm. Thanks to Islamic Virgin.
Hi, handsome.
Hi, darling. Sorry to bother you. I'm looking for my glasses.
Which one?
Either. I lost them both. How do my glasses go from me so fast? Is it something magical or what? Well, I guess I'm just blind till I buy new glasses. They appear to be completely gone forever. All of my glasses now belong to us. How?
Oh my gosh.
Well, they're on my shirt. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, Hero Lamb. God. Will you stop being so defensive about this? Thou protestest too much, methinks. Rachel found my glasses. Thank you, darling, for finding my glasses. I greatly appreciate it. They were on my shirt. None of you could have told me that? Or I couldn't have read it. Did you time out here, Lamb? Show media, I don't think that's appropriate. I granted it was for 10 seconds. Okay, I I've already affirmed everything you said amply times over. And you continue to defend this relationship in the absence of any ongoing attack at all. So what else am I supposed to think? It's fine. He didn't lose a beat. He's right back in. I'm not disrespecting her. For fuck's sake. How did I disrespect her? What did I say that was disrespectful to her? Nothing. I don't know who she is at all. I have not even the tiniest piece of knowledge of who she is, how she is, anything except what you're telling me. So how could I possibly be disrespecting her? Oh, was it when I said, God, I lack respect for your woman? Is that what it was? I shouldn't have said that, I guess. I didn't say anything disrespectful about her at all. All I said was, oh my God, what a stupid whore she is. I mean, oh wait, I guess that is a little disrespectful. No, I never said anything like that. I never said any such stuff. You're imagining this disrespect with your imagination machine. Pretty hard for me to disrespect a complete stranger. The only things I know about her are that she's Islamic and a virgin and your ex and current girlfriend. So how can I possibly say anything disrespectful about her? I don't know anything to disrespect her with. What did I say here that I would never say in person? Nothing. I didn't say anything bad about her at all. There's only one person here who said anything bad about her, and that is you. You said she has antics that you need to tolerate, and that she's crazy. Nobody else has said anything bad about her at all. So maybe check reality before deriving meanings. Okay, well, and I guess you like Hallmark movies a lot. Personally, I think if I were to compare Rachel to a Hallmark movie, she'd probably find that insulting. Okay, my point isn't that you were shitting on her. My point is that I wasn't. Well, it's the same dimwit's been coming back periodically with different accounts and stuff. But Hero Lamb is just being very sensitive about his new girlfriend. And and unsatisfied with my lack of express unadulterated, unbridled enthusiasm for her, which he has interpreted as some form of disrespect. Okay, she's similar to Rachel except more loud. Okay, good for her, good for you. I'm sure you'll have a wonderful life together. I will send you a wedding present. It'll be a note saying, "What a terrible mistake you're making." Just kidding. Cheers. Yes, you've expressed that already. And okay, I get it, but I was only even remotely insensitive about this matter in my most initial response to it. Whoa. Hey, apparently she's more similar to Rachel, except more loud. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Fine. 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 I didn't mean to trigger you with any inadequate support. My bad. I think at this point he's probably making a joke, but I don't know that for sure. I'm just curious as to whether or not she's similar to Rachel and how that links to her loudness. Is she more or less similar to Rachel than what is not stated? And is she more or less loud? I will agree that Rachel's not especially loud. Yeah, I've been there. I know the feeling, you know? And it's a great feeling. And it's hard not to be, you know, in a highly meagity state of being when it's going on. I was there 4 years ago, you know? It was wild. Like when Rachel and I first got together, I like broke out in acne like as a teenager. And I got this one boil on my back that took like a year to go away. Why is marriage a good idea? Well, it's not necessarily a good idea, but I could say why it was a good idea for us. It wasn't a good. Well, it's hard to say. I got to remember that the thing is, my first marriage produced Delilah. So, in that regard, it was a good idea. But if you were to evaluate ahead of time whether that was a good match for me, the answer was no. The reason marrying Rachel was a good idea is because I didn't want her to carry the burden of an incomplete commitment, which I would presume would link to either anxiety on her part or feeling like somehow she's falling short or I would marry her. I didn't really care if I get married or not. I don't take marriage very seriously because my first two marriages both ended in divorce. So what I mean by I don't take it seriously is I don't think that marriage is more likely to end in being together forever than not being married, you know? But I don't have any doubts that Rachel and I will be together forever. The thing is, in previous relationships, I might not have actively been doubting it, but I didn't have any kind of clarity as to the fact that I wanted to be with a person for the rest of my life, nor about the fact that we definitely were going to be together for the rest of our lives. I have that clarity with Rachel because I actually love her. I enjoy her company. She's easy to be with, you know? And she was easy to be with even under incredibly difficult circumstances. We didn't fight during the worst conditions, you know? Living together in the back of my dad's house is not ideal. Not a great way to start a relationship. But went remarkably smoothly. We successfully coexisted, were together all the time, beyond which any two people should be able to do without annoying each other. I'm sure I annoy Rachel a little more than she annoys me, but I genuinely believe that she enjoys my chatter. And I will note that I don't really, it's not like I talk her ear off all the time. The longer we've been together, the more we end up taking, say, a drive, just driving in silence, you know. Plenty of stretches of silence that persist between the two of us. But there are also times when I'm feeling chatty, when it's time for Eric to explain things to Rachel. Unsolicited explanations. Things about like, so here's why I think that Old Miss is going to upset LSU this upcoming weekend. You know? Or here's why I don't like the offense they're running. Because look, if you're that run focused, blah 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 blah. Maybe the chat is duplicating people's things without trying to. Well, you're never going to find it if you're looking for it. It won't come your way. Oh. Is that a song, Heroin? I'm not familiar with that song. I am, however, familiar with the song, Never Gonna Get It, Never Gonna Get It, Never Gonna Get It. Are you familiar with that song? Let's see what this car sound was. Must be the neighbors across the street. Okay, and now it's time for a breakdown. Right. It is. Here we go. Break it down. BREAKDOWN. There you go. I broke it down for you. Never gonna get it, never gonna get it, never gonna get to sake and french fries. What is tzatziki? Tzatziki. What is that? You know what song I like a lot that I kind of think of as being similar to that song I was just singing? Is the song I'm gonna get you. Meow, 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 meow. You'll be my American boy. American boy. No, I don't know tzatziki. I don't know what it is, but I could Google it. I like American Boy, and I think of it as being in a similar vein too. Never gonna get it, never gonna get it. Song. It's a yogurt and cucumber dip. All right, whatever. Well, it doesn't sound like it. It just kind of has a similar. When I think about you, I touch myself. Like that. That's a sultry song. Eric Cucumboger. That's what they call tzatziki is cucumboger. Girl, I love you so, and I want you to know that I'm gonna miss your love. After you're dead, I'm sure in my head, I'll regret killing you without gloves. Love, John. Please don't go. Well, too late for that. Too late for that. The lady's already gone. Why? Because you are a wife beater. It's okay. So, what do you think? Can anybody come up with a sexier or sultrier song than I Touch Myself by the Divinals? I think it's by the Divinals. When I think about you, I touch myself. Here's another sultry song. Santa baby. Meow, 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 meow. How about My Heart Belongs to Daddy? It's a pretty sultry song. I saw Mama blowing Santa Claus's altar, a pretty sultry song. I saw Mama blowing Santa Claus deep inside her throat the other night. What I'm looking up is instead My Heart Belongs to Daddy lyrics. This is a very sultry song. While tearing off a game of golf, I may make a play for the caddy, but when I do, I don't follow through, 'cause my heart belongs to Daddy. Yes, my heart belongs to Daddy, so I simply couldn't be bad. Yes, my heart belongs to Daddy. Da 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 da. The Eartha Kitt song. I don't know if she wrote it, but she's the one I'm familiar with singing it. Oh, it's by Marilyn Monroe. Did Marilyn Monroe actually write the song? She couldn't possibly have written that song. It's a great song. Who wrote Cole Porter? Cole Porter wrote it. Okay. Yeah. That makes a lot more sense than Marilyn Monroe writing it. No, sultry woman song is what we're looking for, Winston's mom. Not Chuck Berry singing about his ding-a-ling. Like songs like that Pouty Girl could sing like those kind of songs. Like Santa Baby and Touch Myself by the Divinals. And are these my bibs? By Barbara and the Boobs. I Want Your Sex. Is that by a lady? Um it'd be a song like the lyrics are like, I try my best, but I just can't seem to figure out. Yeah. A big strong man could help me. Like that kind of stuff. How about the Jardian song? I don't know the Jardian song, nor do I know the Sky Rizzy song. But I was watching the Sky Rizzy commercial earlier, and I was just reminded of how badly I'd like to go on Sky Rizzy. Sky Rizzy's really making a media push right now. They'd like to have Eartha Kitt probably is a good place to look for other sultry songs as well. But I can't think of any more off the top of my head. The male versions of those songs tend not to be sultry, but if they're horrible sultry R&B, they're just horrible songs. But if they're normal, then it's like, let's get butt naked and fuck. Or it's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. I am getting so hot, I will take my clothes off. Which is one of the most hilariously ridiculous songs ever, right? Yeah. I guess you could say a female sultry song would be Shoop by Salt and Pepper. Shoop by Salt and Pepper is a female trying to get sex from somebody's song. I don't know if I'd call it sultry, but damn, baby, that sounds sexy. Oh, here I go, here I go, here I go again. Girls, What's my weakness, man? Okay, then, chillin', minding my business. Yourself, I looked around and I couldn't believe this. I swear, I stared. My niece, my witness, the brother had it going on with something kind of, oh, wicked, wicked. Had to kick it. I'm not shy, so I asked for the digits. Oh no, that don't make me see what I want to I do it swiftly. Feel it in my hip, so I dip back to my bag of tricks. Then I flip for a tip, make him want to do tricks on him. Lick him like a lollipop should be licked. Came to my senses and I chilled for a bit. Don't know how you do the voodoo that you do so well. It's a spell. Hell, it makes me want to shoot. And when she says shoot, I think she means have intercourse. So that should sum it up pretty well for you. How about my neck, my back? Call 877 cash now. 877 cash now. So you have a structured settlement and you need cash now. Oh yeah, gee Wentworth. 877 cash now. 877 cash now. That's a pretty good song. It is. Nobody could deny that. But I tell you what another good song is the Pete Ellis Dodge song. Pete Ellis Dodge, Long Beach Freeway, Firestone exit, Southgate. I don't know if you're not from LA, you probably don't know that song, but if you are from LA, you know that song. You also know the song for Toyota of Orange. Oh no, you won't get a lemon at Toyota of Orange. No, you won't get a lemon at Toyota of Orange. Everybody who lives in Los Angeles assuredly knows those two songs. Because, of course, those car dealerships have played those songs in advertisements for a long time. Where have all the cowboys gone? I don't know, but good riddance. All right, here's a sultry song. 'Cause I'm your lady and you're my man. How sultry was that? Pretty sultry. I'll tell you what's a contemporary sultry song that's pretty sultry is I met a boy. It's a Tessa Violet song. To love me, to know him, yeah. Another song I find rather sultry is a song by Claire somebody or another. And she says, dance with me in my backyard, boy, looking super fine in your corduroy. That's a pretty sultry song. No, WAP is not a sultry song. Okay. That is just crass. That's not sultry. Sultry and crass are different things. Crazy, I'm not sure about that one. We're looking for girl sultry songs, okay? Not boy sultry. So let's think a little bit about more girl sultry songs. I don't know Pony Genuine. Um, if we can't think of any more girl sultry songs, Ella Fitzgerald songs? What's a famous one? Well, did you know that Dream a Little Dream of Me was an Ella Fitzgerald song? You probably thought it was a Mamas and the Papas song. You were wrong. Misty's an Ella Fitzgerald song. But it's not sultry enough. I'm sorry. You're not really striking the sultriness bullseye that I'm looking for here. Um
Is the best beat that you ever heard for rapping. If you think it's a good beat cause it's trap, then you don't know very much about trap.
Somebody called me. In particular, Amy Winehouse song that's especially sultry. Remember, the standard for sultry is the Divinals, I Touch Myself. When I think about you, I touch myself. Okay, it's kind of got, you're looking for a lot of Marilyn Monroe, Santa Baby, and you're sultry. Eartha Kitt, My Heart Belongs to Daddy, that's sultry. Okay, WAP, that's crass. Tonight we're learning the difference between sultry and crass. Valerie? I'm not sure who that is. All right, since I can't think of any more sultry songs that I know how to sing, I'm going to make up a sultry song that exactly exemplifies the spirit of sultriness. Okay, here it goes. So it's going to be a story like this. I lost my purse. I was so confused. And I needed help. 'Cause I lost my shoes. And I can't do things. And I need a man. And that's the chorus. That's a quintessentially sultry song. And as you can see, I've clearly got a career as a professional sultrier. If I ever wanted to lead a big, high-paying YouTube business, that no, I'm not. I'm not rats in a tent is pretty sultry though. I'm not that innocent. Because I've had a lot of dick. A sultrician, right. I'm not that innocent. What? You want to put that inside of me? I'm pretty innocent, but I'm not that innocent. That's how girls be sultry. Look at Me by Gary Halliwell. Not familiar with it. So you might be right, but no way of knowing. True Balls. I probably will start calling him that. He is the true balls around here. Yeah. In other words, get back UT74. We're very skeptical. You are a real human being. But we'll let you fuck up once. So, anyway, I guess this is the downside of anonymity, right? If all of his behavior were linked to his identity, and he would be held accountable for it, then you'd probably give him some pause, right? Julio. So, I mean, it would be kind of funny to do a video saying, all right, let's see if I can garner enough interest in this story for the internet to track down who this guy is and expose him, you know? It might just be Michael Smith, but who knows? I mean, the thing is, being Michael Smith gives you automatically anonymity anyway. And of course, that anonymity behind Michael Smith, that might not actually be his name, you know? We don't know that. It's just been, isn't no drama, it's just the same nonsense. It's just somebody who's putting way more effort into trying to troll me than any sane human being would. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Michael Smith is not his real name either, but who knows? It could be. I mean, there are people in the world named Michael Smith. Unfortunately, too many of them. So if his name really is Michael Smith, dragging out his name isn't going to do much good. But if one were to well, but I do believe that YouTube currently has limited the ability of people to create multiple new accounts in one day. He's got a number spammer, so a number spoofer. He's called me from numbers in Oakhurst, you know. So I don't even no point bothering to block the numbers. If I answer the call, this disconnects, and you'll be on. You'll be on. You won't be able to hear or see anything. So this is kind of an interesting YouTube experience as well because experiment. I mean, because we're getting to see. We're getting to see, I guess, the extent of somebody's willingness to or capacity to create more accounts, if nothing else. It's giving us some information. I mean, you can do that, but that's not my problem. I'm not getting comments, whatever. Yeah, John Rogers, you look real. You came at a weird time. I went to your channel to see if you looked real, and yeah, but I'm not into that stuff, right? I put my number. It's easy to get someone's number. I got my number on the thing all the time. No, because I'm live streaming, and it interrupts the live stream, and I don't want to give him any more attention. It's like he didn't have anything worth saying, so why would I want to engage with him at all? Tell him off. I mean, I use words purposefully, not just to vent my mindless rage. Like, I mean, this guy is so dumb. He is very bottom of the bell curve, I guess he left. Probably maybe he was having that conversation with his woman right there. I don't know. Maybe that explains what was going on there. Yeah, exactly. Why hang around for someone to get their rocks off? It's like, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to let him cause me to stop live streaming. It's much more likely causes me to persist live streaming for longer so that he doesn't get the impression that he's pushed me off the live stream or whatever. Certainly I'm not going to answer his phone calls. And the first one I answered because I had no recollection really of where his phone calls were coming from before or anything, and wasn't sure. And I just wanted to make sure it was an actual person. I answered, and they said nothing. So, I don't know, scared or confused that I answered or whatever. I'm not sure. No, hang on. Nazi veteran honored in the Canadian Parliament. Why? I try to pretend I'm Pat Sajak. No, I don't like having fun with people who don't deserve to have fun. It's taken me a long time to really understand and learn how and when to disengage. I'm pretty good at it now. It's a lot harder to push my buttons than it used to be. No. His insecurity is offended by my confidence. That's what it boils down to. Deion Sanders said it. I heard the quote the other day. It makes me get people like this so much more clearly now. His insecurity is offended by my confidence. Why am I caring what someone who hates me? Like, why am I caring at all? Why am I directing any attention at all to someone who hates me? I'm not interested in breaking their spell. Why would I do their work for them? They're being spiteful and hateful and awful. Am I supposed to go cure them? No. Fuck those fucks. They can choke on their own spite and hate. And I will be blithely unaware over here because I couldn't give one single fuck less about this idiot. I'm perfectly fine with knowing that somebody hates me. You're like trouble. He'll scratch me. I go, ow, what the fuck? And he'll walk away and then he'll turn right around and be like, well, we're cool though, right? Meow, meow. I'm like, yeah, we're cool, but you didn't need to scratch me. No, I did need to scratch you, Eric. Oh, I don't normally really like to talk about MBTIs a ton. Occasionally I do. This video, this live stream, we've not talked really at all about MBTI. You accept it, but you additionally, yeah, exactly. Money's point is the critical point here. This guy has already wasted God knows how much of his time trying to troll me. And can you, I'm outside, so can you remove that person, please? So anyway, God knows how much time this idiot has put into this already. And there's no correct or objective calculus by which he can say any good came out of it for him, right? So no matter how he looks at it, how it plays out, whatever, there's no future scenario in which he reflects back on the time he spent doing this and thinks it was time well spent, right? There's no possible good outcome for him. He's failing continually to bug me, and like he's failing continually to hurt my feelings, which is what he wants to do. So I presumably getting more and more frustrated instead of learning anything. Like, oh, maybe I should stop doing this. It's not working and it's making me feel bad. He just keeps trying harder. The more comfortable, confident I am, the less successfully he's impacting me negatively, the more he hates me. It's the feedback loop of the insecure. My confidence offends his insecurity. My kick-assedness reinforces my confidence. And kicking his ass reinforces his insecurity, which causes him to double down again. And this doubling down phenomenon is something I've commented on for a long time outside of this context. The worst thing a person can do is double down on their wrongness. So everybody loses occasionally, right? Learn something from it. Don't double down on the stupidity that made you lose. That's a smart person's heuristic that you can use almost every single time, which is everybody loses sometimes. When you lose, don't double down on the strategy that caused you to lose in the first place because you're upset, right? Right. Well, I don't need to establish that I have good cause to be happy, confident, healthy, self-satisfied, and satisfied with my life. I don't need to establish that thing. I don't need to give somebody my resume to prove that I'm justified in carrying myself with just a comfortable ease. In fact, my comfortable ease is the best possible proof that I'm worthy of it. Yeah, I'm not sure who he's instructing to perform a basic threat model. I think he's instructing the guy, but he says there's no amount of trolling that will affect streaming continuity. He's right. I mean, the thing is, oh yeah, they're back at it. I have been on YouTube now for a solid 10 years of continually making videos and beginning live streaming once they introduced live streaming, making shorts, etc. Right? They've got a number spoofer, so they're calling from different numbers. So the thing is, I have gone through every kind of drama, attack, whatever that one can experience on YouTube. I've seen it all, and including this. I don't know if I recall anybody in particular combining chat and phone so much, but I've experienced both of those independently of each other. And I know on at least a couple of occasions in the past that somebody who was trolling in the chat did make a call or two. So it's not, to the extent that it has any newness at all to what he's doing, it's minor details like that. I'm experienced with dealing with this shit, and at this point, it is very difficult to get under my skin. We get desensitized to your own buttons that can be pushed over the course of experiencing this shit over and over and over again for 10 years, right? Because I used to be a lot more abrasive and more inviting of clash, right? I don't remember where I got these fucking things. I like my other glasses better, but I've lost them again. Because that's what I do. I lose glasses. Well, that's why they resort to attacking Rachel. Because that does bother me. And they can't get any response out of me with their old man senile shit because it's just like, you're not even good at insulting me at all. But when you start attacking a woman's appearance just out of spite, that makes you a pretty fucking horrible person. And the thing is, no decent person would stand behind somebody engaging in that behavior. So whoever this person is, they've either managed to largely isolate themselves or they're hanging out with equally awful people, right? That's not going to, that's not going to make for a good or happy life, obviously. Like, there's no universe in which this individual is ultimately proud of themselves, though at the moment they may feel as though they're accomplishing something. It's not like they can tell this story to any decent human being and be affirmed for it, right? So, I mean, there's justice implicit in the world in that most people are decent and nobody's going to be on that guy's side given the nature of his attacks. Everyone's going to say, wow, you're a real scumbag. You know, so even if he's successfully keeping a secret from all decent people, he's got this implicit cognitive dissonance thing going on there because he's having to keep his toxic heroin secret from everybody, and he's either got to come to terms with the fact of why he has to keep a secret from everybody, or Trump always got most of the bad. Or he's got to come to terms with I mean, I don't think it's a typological thing. I think it's a combination of idiocy and toxicity. Like, there's got to be something more going on than just a typological conflict. We don't know if this is Michael Smith or not. Well, I mean, I would agree that it would be fine to talk about something else, but remember how I kind of engage in general in live streams is to be responsive to the chat and what's going on. And in this instance, I guess it's still interesting enough being this flurry that it's worth explicating why and how it's happening. Like the question, what type do you think they are, is a good question. Do I see the X? I do. It's a good point, Xavier. totally off subject, but I'm just finishing up the dragon mask I've been working on. I'm kind of impressed with it. It feels weird. I want to show off, but I feel super cringe with it. No, it's fine to want to show off. I want to show off all the time. Unfortunately, I don't have a means for you to share that photo here, so you'll have to make a video or something, upload it. I can link to that video in the community tab, but it probably won't get you much traffic. I just never tried it. Don't want to. I like to keep all my work in one bucket, you know. So I do YouTube uploads, live streams, shorts, and I don't work with anything else. I was very impressed with the leather purse that Rachel got from you today. I thought it was a fine thing that you did. It has a pleasingly blended couple of different shades of blue, comprising the blueness of it. It's like a dark turquoise. Dark turquoise is one of the gems you use if you're a dark elf to cast certain kinds of spells, such as a spell that makes women want to buy a ring. Just relax, Wednesday. Just whenever you think you're trying to get too much attention or whatever, or want to show off or something, just compare yourself to me. And remember that it's like somebody. Remember, you're somebody who smokes an occasional cigarette, okay? And compare yourself to me. You're all worried about the health impacts. You just smoke like one cigarette a week. If I can smoke a whole pack a day for decades and you only smoke one a week and I'm fine, then you definitely don't need to worry. Same thing, but with FE, replacing cigarettes. With cigarettes, you and I both have the same situation going on. You can talk about the comparison you're making earlier about different ways to cook eggs and subtypes. It's when you're looking at the particulars of a person's upbringing, even though those are kind of endlessly varied, you can have an endless variety of combination of different particular factors coordinating with one another to change, to contribute that part of human experience into your total being. So you're not just an expression of cognitive functions. You're an expression of cognitive functions as informed by and informing of a bunch of particular situations and contexts and stuff, right? So the thing is, what I don't know is if those myriad possible variations of particulars ultimately have some naturally occurring categories to them, such that one might imagine that particulars fall into, say, one of four categories. If so, it's like an egg. You can cook an egg, boil it for 17 minutes, you got a hard-boiled egg. Boil it for 12 or 13 minutes, you got a soft-boiled egg. Open it into the pan, flip it over, you got an over easy, over medium, an over egg. And then scramble it up and put it in, you've got a scrambled egg, okay? So in that instance, in that example, being like an egg says, yes, it's possible to cook an egg from 0 seconds to 1,000,000 hours, but all those particular variants end up breaking down into really just 4 kinds of eggs: scrambled, over, soft boiled, hard boiled. So if particular experiences impact cognitive functions the way that cooking time impacts eggs, then it would be the case that even though we could conceive of infinite possible egg cook times, people end up landing in one of 4 piles: over, scrambled, soft, or hard. In that case, a subtype taxonomy might be informative, but you'd have to determine I don't know how you determine that. It's more likely that subtypes are instead like the branching decision paths of RPG. If you're playing an MMORPG, then you start off as a cleric. You got a lot of other clerics in the game too. And those clerics don't end up being either scrambled, over, soft, or hard. They end up being some random cooking time. In other words, this cleric may get into using a flail and favor, say, dispel undead kind of magic. This cleric may favor healing magic and use a mace. This cleric may. Each of them is going to be as defined. All the differences are going to be defined by a bunch of particulars, and there's going to be no naturally occurring groupings among to subtype out your clerics. Because you'll get a random mix of things like, well, this guy does flail and healing, but that guy does undead and flail, but that guy does undead and mace. There won't be any naturally occurring divisions, right? So probably types are like that. There's variance within a type, just as there's variance among clerics in an MMORPG. But it doesn't informatively break into any smaller categories than cleric. But as with clerics, being a single type, you might have a cleric that you really maximize their hand-to-hand fighting ability, such that if you were looking at it but couldn't see that they were a cleric and just watching them fight, you might think they were a fighter, right? Nevertheless, if you looked under the hood, you'd see they still have all the core abilities and limitations of a cleric. They can use this kind of magic and not that kind of magic. They can use these kind of weapons and not those kind of weapons. It's a really good analogy for typology because it explains why, it gives a good analog that anybody can intuit for the phenomenon of somebody appearing like a different type. He looks like a fighter. He's getting right up in there hand to hand, and he's kicking ass. He's taking a lot of hits. He's like a tank. It could just be a cleric with some super great armor and super great mace that does a shit ton of damage, you know? Who's chosen to run his cleric as though it were a fighter. There, I don't have to go outside. I do have a light in here. Well, the bottom line is, as I've said many times before, almost certainly subtypes are bullshit. I was asked one time, or somehow it came up like, but can't you categorize people into subcategories, even if it's not like a mechanics thing? Can't we observationally categorize them? And I said, well, that depends on whether it's like an egg or like a role-playing game. I don't know which it's like. The people who are making subtypes don't even understand that they need to answer that question before they make subtypes. You want a cat-eye woman to whip you? Oh, they completely restructured their whole system? You mean the pooper sours? Have they also published a video saying Eric was right? Shan. Dave and Shan were one part man and one part lady, too. Between the both of them, they had ideas good as poo. It's a poem. Well, yeah, it's like if people were accountable at all, they'd keep track of when they were catastrophically wrong and do something besides expect people to continue to trust them with that topic at all. It's like when people from Dare ask me for a donation, they assure me, oh no, we're not really about drugs anymore. Now we're all about suicide prevention. My thought is, so you mean the many people that you drove to suicide with your horrible disinformation campaign against drugs, in which you desperately tried to convince everybody who did drugs that they were worthless losers, now you want us to trust you with suicide prevention. No, we shouldn't trust you with anything. Get the fuck out of my face. That's what I think, not what I say. You know, I don't want to take it out on that young lady who's just working for Dare for a few bucks, you know. What are your thoughts on the concept of self-growth? 90% of the time, it's some form of frame projection. Okay, so you're asking me what I think about it, and then you're telling me what you think about it, and that's fine. Yeah, almost. Well, okay, it depends whose perspective you're looking at it from. If you're looking at it from purported gurus, self-growth is 99% of the time frame projection, as their message is always going to be more like me and less like you. Your problem is that you're too much like you and not enough like me. Take Teal's Ron, for example. But if you're looking at it from the perspective of individuals seeking self-growth, in that sense, then in that regard, they may still express that pursuit of self-growth through frame projections, and that, like, it may be the case that they're going to assume they're going to find self-growth things that hit them in their polar, for example, a place of least resistance, and convince them there's something wrong with them, and after they sort of hand over their agency to this party that's promising to solve what's wrong with them. So that's potentially occurs. It seems like intuitively that it probably does. But in general, what I would say about those seeking self-growth is there probably are plenty of parties who authentically want to attain self-growth, but are continually disappointed by a sequence of things promising self-growth because they're all wrong, because they're not presenting their notions of self-growth through a cognitive function frame. If you're trying to universalize shit and say, this applies to everybody, you're already wrong. You have to direct self-growth messages. You have to individuate them to the types. It's safe enough to give self-growth messages to all ENTPs, for example. If I were to do it, because I am an ENTP, then to the extent that my self-growth message is true for me, it's going to be true for them at a much higher rate than for people who aren't ENTPs, right? The problem with that in the status quo is if I give a self-growth message to ENTPs, a shit ton of ESTJs, ESFPs, ESTPs, and other not ENTPs are going to seek, hear, and try to internalize this message under the false notion that they themselves are the same type as me. Oh, you used to be not your business? Are you a lady or a man? As cat down the road, I'm assuming you're a lady. As not your business, I'm assuming you're a man. And this is what I'm trying to change this Halloween by dressing up as a cat. I'm reclaiming cats from the women. There are male cats too. Not only chicks should get to dress up as cats for Halloween. Next year I'm reclaiming angels because there are male angels like the Archangel Michael. In the status quo, only women seem to think they're entitled to dress up as angels. So I'm going to reclaim both those costumes for men, for heterosexual men. In a couple of years, I expect one of the most manly things a guy could do will be to dress up as an angel for Halloween. Of course, you have to be a manly angel. That's why I'm being the Archangel Michael. So I'm going to have a sword that I literally light on fire and strike people down with. Anytime I see a sin, here comes the fiery sword. I'm not just going to be a manly angel. I'm going to be an asshole angel. Because what's more manly than being an asshole? You're going to dress up as L. Ron Hubbard? Okay, well then I'll dress up as M. Ron Hubbard. So we won't be, well, people won't think we're twinsing. Rachel and I were discussing earlier today couples who wear the same clothes. Like, you don't see it often, but you might see at least this variant of it relatively often. Two couples wearing the same t-shirt. They both went to this jazz festival together and they bought a t-shirt and they're both wearing it together, walking down the street, both wearing the same shirt. You might see that. Rachel and I have identical concert t-shirts. And we're both in full agreement. Should I wear mine? She shall not wear hers. Should she wear hers? I shall not wear mine. We do not want to be twinsies. Twinsies is just, it's a bad fashion choice. If you're accidental twinsies, let's say you don't live with your wife, but you got a girlfriend on the other side of town, you're on the side of town, and you meet someplace, and you just accidentally wore the same t-shirt, well, that can't be stopped. You know, there's nothing you can do to stop that. And you just have to say, okay, well, we were wearing the same shirt. Yeah, we could be an even more gay couple if we both try to fit into one shirt. I like that. Cleansing pills therapy thing? Cleansing pills? Is that what they're calling Xanax now? Look, coordinating your outfits is one thing. If we're going out to a nice dinner, I don't want to be generally, although it often enough happens, dramatically less well dressed than Rachel. I want to be equivalently dressed. And I would even be okay with noting that she's got this color predominant here and making a gesture of that color somewhere on my own outfit. I don't think it's ever happened, but I could. It's not I wouldn't be opposed to doing that. I could conceive of myself doing that at some point. I am fashion conscious, but I can't recall ever actually doing it heretofore. So, you know. I'm just glad that Rachel doesn't buy an I'm with stupid t-shirt. Just continue considering myself lucky. You know way too much about Scientology? Is it due to a research paper you once had to do on Scientology? Or were you in Scientology yourself? If so, I am very sorry to hear that. Natives have a sweat lodge ritual. They get in a lodge and they sweat, and so they're done sweating, and then they go outside and say, "Make it rain, let's dance." Well, I mean, it's not like anything this guy said had any redeeming quality to it whatsoever. He's demonstrated himself unusually dumb from the get-go. You know? It's not like there are a lot of real smart trolls out there, but there are trolls that are a lot smarter than this guy. Um, I don't, I mean, I think even Clubby ENTP is, wouldn't be this dumb, you know? So, it's to the extent that one wishes to deal with it in some other way other than just hanging up and hiding and stuff like that. There's not really any path forward because, you know, every civil way of dealing with something engages talking, actual talking, right? Communication between two people. But obviously, this person is not able or not willing to use words that way, right? It would be inherently it would be asking of that person way more than they can even conceivably provide. They're already furious because, like, my confidence offends their insecurity, you know? So he's hiding from process servers. That's funny. He's horrible. That Miscavige guy. So, you know, it's like the nice thing is this has natural consequences. I'm not gonna go to bed thinking about it. And this guy is going to be carrying anger and frustration into the next day. God knows for how long, you know? So it's not like I'm saying pity the fool. I'm just saying the fool is pitiful. Yes, it is in fact the wisdom of Deion Sanders. My confidence offends his insecurity. As soon as I heard that from Deion Sanders, I said, oh my God, that nutshell's what happens to me all the time. Not all the time, but like tonight, what happened to me a lot tonight and happens some of the time. Because I was struggling to really understand it prior to hearing those words. And I get that those words are only so informative because a person has to be offended and a person has to offend. It can't be, yes, that's a metaphor, but the gist of it is because he's an insecure person, he finds my comfort and confidence moving through life offensive. And he wants to undercut it. He wants to see me knocked off my smug horse, taken down a notch, etc. But the thing is, I'm not like Homelander and the boys. You know, I am healthy. I'm accountable. I make mistakes. I I'm not a bully, you know. There are instances where I've bullied my way through things. There are instances where my behavior, my tone or whatever was inadequately sensitive. There may be again, etc. But I hate suffering and can't watch it, let alone cause it. You know, if I do, in the heat of the moment, and don't sort of process that till later, I feel absolutely terrible. Misery loves other miseries. Well, and in this case, you could say misery attempts to make miserable that which isn't. But, well, having a shitty situation, Karma Spin, but being miserable are two different things. Like, Rachel and I were troopers, did the best we could through some difficult years at my dad's house, but we weren't miserable people. We were just experiencing miserable circumstances. So I guess that quote the room references would be most accurately stated as miserable people cause misery, and changing their circumstances won't make them less miserable. You know, I'm assuming this guy had a rough go of it in school. Obviously not equipped for intellectual work, and the horribleness of the school system forced him to fail to meet a sequence of standards of academics, and told him either implicitly or explicitly that he had less worth accordingly than the other students. Who knows what his home life was like? You know, people who were raised well and so forth and have decent childhoods probably are not going to be like that, you know? Well, that's punching down, right? But this guy's punching up. He's saying, why aren't you down here with the rest of us punching monkeys? Well, you said I'm basically the living embodiment of hell. I assume that you meant your life right now, not that you personally were basically like a very large area filled with lakes of fire. And damned souls wailing. Is that what you see as inside of you? A bunch of lakes of fire and damned souls wailing? Well, it's related in some sense to the instinct that because we have income disparities or wealth inequality, that we should make wealthy people have less money. It's like the problem isn't that these people enjoy these privileges. The problem can only correctly be articulated as these other people don't enjoy privileges. Taking the privileges away from people who are successful and happy and prosperous is not a good way to solve wealth disparities, right? The redistribution aspect of it via taxation, isn't redistributive. It doesn't turn into checks that are mailed to Americans. It turns into government programs unrelated to almost every average American's life. Nobody can dispute that misery loves crumpets because everything loves crumpets. Except for Muffin No Crumpet. He hates crumpets. Well, my thoughts on universal basic income are twofold. One, if we want to replace all the existing social programs with the UBI, it would be a vastly superior approach to wealth redistribution. So I'm fully in favor of that. Of course, that means eliminating the programs you are replacing, including Medicare, etc., Social Security, etc., right? Or if that's politically infeasible, which it might be, I would also be fine with my UBI plan, which is funded via crypto USD that has a transaction fee for one kind of transaction built into its architecture, and the funds are routed to the Treasury, and Congress has no access to those funds. It routed directly into the Treasury and back out to the American people. Now, the thing about this plan is it guarantees no specific amount of money per month. It divides all the revenues by the eligible population and puts it out like that. So I'd be in favor of that as well. We might need a constitutional amendment to fully prevent Congress from messing with it, trying to take those monies for something else. But what was I gonna say? But there's a third possibility that I need to look into more. I don't have a clear advocacy about this because I don't understand it well enough yet. But I have yet to hear a single good reason why quantitative easing isn't accomplished by simply cutting a check for one portion of the total amount of currency that's being additional new currency that's being infused into the economy to account for new wealth created by the work. Why isn't that new currency, that quantitatively eased currency, just put into the economy by sending checks to every American? Why is it put into the economy by giving it to banks who then have to lend it at a certain interest rate? I'm not sure why that's done that way. There may be good reasons for it, but the ones I've been able to think of, like inflation, that doesn't make any sense. Not if it's quantitatively eased at the right amount. If in fact they're infusing too much currency into the economy and they need the banks to slow down that infusion to avoid inflation, then why not simply infuse the right amount? So until somebody can answer these questions for me, because I don't know enough, and I don't want to try to do a bunch of research by myself. I want somebody like from the Federal Reserve who's fully an advocate of this existing quantitative easing protocol to explain to me why it's this way and not the way I've described. What would happen if we did it my way? I want somebody who's the top level person, most passionate advocate in favor of this, most in bed with the Fed person who can make the case as much as possible. I want him to explain it to me. Because I mean, I wouldn't want to make some sort of decision that tanked the economy because I was not informed adequately enough. Well, show media, now that we both agree that money's fake, you can give me all your fake money. Again, I don't want to dig for the explanation. I want to ask somebody, have them explain it to me, and have me ask questions as they're going along. So I don't feel like I need to have a clear position on this until I'm in a position to do something about it, at which point I'll be in a position to have the right people explain it to me. And here's what I promise you will never happen. Their explanation is complicated and I don't quite get it, but it sounds like they know what they're talking about. That will never, ever, ever, ever fucking happen. If that guy doesn't have absolutely convincing reasons as to why they should do it this way and can't answer my questions adequately and is still an advocate in favor of this, I will say, what the fuck are you doing in this job? Of course. You know? That will never happen to me. Anybody who tries it will be metaphorically pantsed and hung from the flagpole out in front of the Capitol building. You ain't gonna fool me, motherfuckers. I hate it when people try to outsmart me. It's like, uh-oh, you went down the wrong path here. All you had to do was be honest, not try to figure out what I'm trying to do or where I'm going with this or some other irrelevant bullshit. Hi, darling. Just answer my question, the question I asked. You don't know what I'm going to do with your answers, so just give me the truth. Whatever you think I'm planning to do with your answer, you're wrong. I don't even know what I'm going to do with your answer until I hear it. How can you possibly know? Free daycare, huh? How about if you can't afford daycare, don't have a kid?
Oh.
There's a crazy notion, huh? All right. I think I'm going to wrap this up. I think it's the end of this stream, the end of the dream for now. But don't worry, I'll be back with more dreams and wisdom for you later on, maybe tomorrow or something. In the meantime, adios, good night, good luck. I love you, and don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.